Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Mafia News Saturday. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for checking in. The Sit Down and Organized Crime podcast. Catch it every Wednesday. Show out this week was Tony Duck's Corral. If you missed it, go check it out wherever you get your podcast. We got a lot to talk about today. On our show each week, we generally talk about news occasionally, but it's mostly for the biography and the compelling look into someone's life. So I'm obviously going to use YouTube to really catch up on a lot of this stuff. There's actually a lot of Mafia news this week. A lot going on in the streets. A lot going on with compassionate releases. We had a death. There was a big story that dropped on Friday with Carmine Persico. And I actually want to kind of set the stage because this week on the show, we're going to talk to Larry McShane, the guy that reported that from the New York Post, and really kind of understand what happened. I'm going to give my opinion now on what I think happened and what was all going on. Also, there's some other compassionate releases. I know some friends of ours have filed for compassionate releases. They're not going to get them, and one of which didn't get them. And we also had a death. So we'll kind of chat a little bit here today. And if you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you. Come say hello. Thanks as always for coming in, and check out the Scott Bernstein live show we did on YouTube a couple of days ago. That was awesome. Good to hear from Scott. We talked about all sorts of mob stuff and drug dealer stuff and all sorts of things. So make sure you check that stuff out. But I want to get into this Carmine Persico story. We did a show on Carmine. He's a guy that obviously had a really interesting life, a life that I think early was very much marred with getting out of things. He was the snake. He killed somebody by the age of 16. He got off and really lived a devious life. Obviously, he screwed a lot of people. That's why they called him the snake. I'll just come out and say, do I believe Carmine Persico was an informant? No, I don't. Do I think occasionally he did what a lot of people did? Yeah, I do. Did he get out of things? Yeah. What do I think this story is all about? I think it's about Victor Arena. Victor Arena wants to get out of prison. I think Victor Arena is really fishing here. Victor Arena is senile. And look, I think the lawyer and attorney for Persico said it best. If Carmine Persico was an informant, why the hell did he die in prison like, the scum of the earth and didn't get any release? The truth of the matter is he wasn't an informant. Did he occasionally, tip info or something? I don't know. Who the hell knows? Do I think he sat there and named people for years on end? No, I don't. It's just not true. I'm interested in seeing what Larry's angle here is. Look, I don't think Larry, and I think it's important to understand, this is not Larry's opinion, okay? People need to understand how this business works, okay? When you're a journalist and your job is to report news, you get memos from lawyers and you report it. It's pretty simple. Larry McShane's not coming. That's the problem with this YouTube stuff. People think that what I say is what I believe. I'm not saying that. If I say this is my opinion, then it's my opinion. Do I think Larry McShane has any opinion on Persico? No, I don't. I don't at all. Again, it's important to understand Larry McShane got a memo from the lawyer, from the feds, and they said this. Now, if we see 302s, that's a different story. I don't think Larry did anything other than report it, and he was the one that got it first. That's what reporters do. Understand? But do I think he's a brat? No, I don't. No, I don't. There's stories. There's always going to be stories. There's stories about everyone. Joe Watts was a rat. Neil Delacroix is a rat. This and that. I mean, let me ask, okay? I've said before in the TV show The Sopranos, was Tony a rat? Because while Tony was boss, he was feeding info on those terrorist guys. Is he a rat? Do I think occasionally the lawyers for Carmine Persico threw a few things to the government? Who the hell knows? Do I think they made people scapegoats? Probably. But do I think Carmine Persico was a CI for decades? No, they just don't. So we'll talk to Larry next week. I'm actually interviewing him tomorrow, so that'll be out on the show next week. We'll probably put it on YouTube as well. And you can get the answer right from the horse's mouth. Larry McShane, who wrote the article. Larry's a great guy and a guy that I talk to pretty frequently. So that should be good. A couple other pieces of news I wanted to get to. I know it's Saturday, and, there aren't always people on here, but maybe you'll check this out later. We're moving up with subscribers. I've only had this channel for like 2.5 weeks. We're pushing 500. So make sure if you enjoy this, you share it wherever you can. Irish Guy says, I look forward to your podcast and show. Thank you, Irish Guy. Appreciate that. The good thing about YouTube is I just do this for fun. Our show is more popular than any show on YouTube. I don't really need YouTube. I just do it because it's fun, and it allows me to do live stuff. Our show gets, we're doing 12, 13,000 a show right now. So it's a podcast. That's what our show is. It's not a YouTube channel. Someone says you need to pre-announce lives. I don't need to pre-announce anything, Captain. That's what lives are. They're spontaneous. Occasionally, if I have an interview, I'll do it. But again, I just do this because I want to talk about this now, and I don't want to wait, and I don't really want to put all this stuff into my show that I have to do, I'm not really worried about, YouTube. It's fun, though. I enjoy it. I'm getting a little bit of a following on it. But the goal for YouTube is to promote the show that I do, right? That's the goal. But I hear you, Captain. But that's not the ultimate goal of the YouTube channel. Let me get to some other news. Ronnie G. Alonso is looking for a compassionate release. I don't think he's going to get it. In fact, he's not going to get it. Ronnie G is going to do his sentence. What he says is, and for anyone that doesn't know who Ronnie G. Alonso is, Ronald G. Alonso was a Bonanno Coppa regime. He was running certain parts of Staten Island, and he is said to be the capo that Gene Borello worked under. There's some stories about Gene and Ronnie. And look, Ronnie was a tough guy. It's that simple. Ronnie G got jammed up in some bookmaking, extortion, and loan sharking charges and got a heavy sentence. Got 14 years. He says that the sentence was too long. But again, we've seen over the years that's sometimes what they do. Judges give you longer sentences. Two of his co-defendants have filed for compassionate releases. He's trying to file for one as well. He's not going to get it, and he's going to do his full 14 years or 80%. He's at Allenwood right now, and he's kind of claiming that his counsel wasn't good enough, and he really has no leg to stand on right now because Charlie Carnesi, who was his lawyer, is dead, sadly. So we'll see. I don't think he's going to get it. I know Michael Padavonia is looking for a release, and Michael Palmisio as well. So we'll see what happens. Keep in mind, Ronnie G did some bad things. He moved around, obviously, and beat people up and things of that nature. So 14 years, a little bit of a long stretch, but he was beating people up and things of that nature. So I don't think he gets out. He'll get out in 2029, which is his release date. But keep in mind, we'll keep abreast of what's going on. I don't think the kid from Howard Beach and G. Alonso has many legs to stand on in this one. So we'll see. But he's doing his time. That's what a man does. So shout out to Ronnie G for doing that. Vinny Artuso has died. For anyone that knew who Vinny was one of the shooters in the Paul Castellano hit. His job was to shoot Paul Castellano along with John Corneglia. If we know about that story, though, sadly, for Vinny, in the case of his respect, his gun jammed. According to what people say, could it be that he just didn't want to shoot? Maybe. But his gun jammed. He passed away, I believe, Wednesday. I think he was 79 or 76. Vinny actually had a pretty interesting life after the mob. He grew up as a baker. His father was a baker. They had a baker in the Bronx, I believe. Had a pretty good career, made a lot of money. I was big down in South Florida, had some real estate schemes and things of that nature. And I believe him and his son got jammed up at one point. Vinny has died. Vinny Dirtbag, they called him. If we remember in the Castellano shooting, the other shooters were obviously John Carneglia. They were tasked to kill Castellano on the right side of the car. Obviously, he was in the passenger seat. They come out of where Sparks is, basically, and shoot Castellano. Eddie Lino, and Salvatore Scala were the other shooters. They killed Bellotti. And then we obviously had other backup shooters like Pizzonia, Joe Watts, Ruggiero, Rampino. They were all stationed kind of to coordinate the car getting out of there. So Vinny Artuso has died. Let's put that out there. Someone says, very interesting man, Wild Bill Cotolo. Will you be doing shows on him? Maybe. We'll do maybe a short on him. I know his son is doing that ridiculously dumb show, Families of Staten Island or whatever it is. I know Boris Nayfeld's family's on there as well, which is interesting. Boris Nayfeld must really need money because Boris Nayfeld's not an informant as far as I know. His family just must need money. I think that's really wild that he's doing that show. Keep in mind, Sam Gravano is doing that show, Cotolo. And then there's other people. I don't know who the hell they are. They have no connection to the Mafia. I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't know who Joe O'Toole is. I never heard of him. He claims he was in the Irish Mafia. I don't know him. I guess he died, committed suicide. And I don't know who the fuck that other kid is. Christian, I think his name is. I don't know who the hell that guy is. I don't know how he's part of it. Why is that guy on the show? He's not a Mafia member. Neither is his family. Who is that guy? I can understand Karen and the kid. By the way, the kid, Karina, what a beautiful girl she is. Shout out to her. Seems like a decent girl, just trying to live her life. But now the show's about, like, I saw Karen's trying to get some guy out of jail that she's like dating or something. And by the way, the guy's story is bullshit. He should be out. I mean, but yeah, I really just don't care much about those people. None of them are, and Wild Bill Cotolo Jr., who the hell cares about him? But yeah, he's definitely rolling around in his grave watching that mockery that the family is. Nikki Newark says, I heard John Carneglia was the only shooter who shot Paul and Bellotti. I've ever heard that story. No, that's not true as far as I know. Was he the only shooter that shot Paul? Yes, because Vincent Artuso's gun didn't work. So, but did he shoot Bellotti? Not that I know. That was Scala and Edward Lino. I haven't seen the show, but now I want to see who this guy is. Who are you talking about, Captain? He's a kid. I mean, they're kids. They're like young 20s. Some kid that like has no connection to the mob at all. And it's no knock on the kid. I mean, it's called Families of the Mafia, and a couple of the kids are not in the Mafia, and neither are their families. So I don't really understand. It's like these guys that have like, maybe they like shook hands with a mobster one time and their families in the Mafia. Now, again, to put Karen Gravano on it and like Cotolo, okay. Nayfeld, okay. But those other kids, like, who the fuck are those kids? I don't know who the fuck those guys are. Do I have any stories about Tommy Aggro? I don't. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to share them here. We're going to do a show on Tommy Aggro, obviously a lunatic in his own right. We're doing a big show next week on a huge lunatic, a guy that no one really talks about when it comes to hitmen, but he's really a pretty famous one. He obviously gets a lot of other respect for some of the other things he did or some of the things that he didn't do. Obviously, he didn't stop selling drugs. He didn't share his profits, and he became a fucking annoyance to a lot of people in Carmine Gallante. But before Carmine was a big-time high point guy in the Bonanos, Carmine Gallante was a vicious hitman. I got to tell you, there are not a lot of mobsters that would kill police. Carmine Gallante did and would. Carmine Gallante was a tough guy. So, and a guy that there were a lot of people that were scared of. So we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about his very public execution. Obviously at Joe and Mary's. We're going to talk about who did that. We're going to talk about what went on. And really the problem that Carmine Gallante had was he trusted people that ended up being his demise, Sicilians that he did a lot of business with. So, yeah, we're going to check into him. Does everyone like my YouTube name? No, I don't like that YouTube name. I would take that out because most people on YouTube, Carlos, are stupid people. They're going to see that name and they're going to think you're a rat. So I would take that out. No, don't give people the benefit of the doubt on YouTube, Carlos. They're very stupid people. Richard says the Gambino's end came when Paul let it out. He got a penis implant. Yeah, you keep saying that. It's not true. Did it hurt him? Yeah. Paul was a pretty good boss, though, for the most part. I know people don't want to give him the credit. Look, was he bad the last couple of years? No, he was more hypocritical. But the truth is, Paul made a lot of money. He was very powerful. He had a lot of control. He was on the commission. He was a pretty damn good boss. And his cousin was arguably the greatest boss ever. So, that's the thing about people. When they say that they don't think Paul was a bad boss, they say Paul is a bad boss. They're the first people I discount in this business because it's just not true. It's just not. Nikki Newark says Carmine was the scariest mobster at one time. The whole commission was worried about him. That's why they took him out. Yeah, I mean, he's super underrated when it comes to money making and the viciousness that he was. We talk on the show all the time about what makes a truly transcendent mobster, a guy that was really powerful, really popular, and he's got his name etched in the history books. Okay, those are the people that we've talked about thus far. And those people that are those people make money, do a lot of killing, and are tough and physical and powerful. If you can do all that stuff, you're going to be a top echelon guy. And everyone we've talked about thus far has been that. Say what you want about Anthony Casso, Roy DeMeo, Paul Castellano, Carmine Persico, Nicky Scarfo, all these guys. They all had both. Some guys are only one, like Jimmy Fiala, Ali Shades, Joe LaForte, all those guys. Smaller guys made a lot of money, and that's great. They're richer than a lot of the guys we'll talk about, but they didn't have it all. And when you have it all, you're a truly transcendent guy. And again, power is important too. Jimmy Fiala was a really powerful guy in the garbage industry. He made a lot of money, but he was a second level guy. He was never going to be the boss. Guys, I will ask, if you come into my chat, and I'm just kind of setting this ground rule now, I don't care about this stupid YouTube shit. Keep me out of it. Okay. I don't care about you blocking people. I don't care about your stuff and other stuff. Just keep that stuff out. I'm just asking respectfully. I don't care about that stuff. Carlos, I like you a lot, but I don't care about that stuff, bro. Just being honest. Those guys don't mean anything. Those guys on YouTube, they did nothing of real note. They're not important. Who cares? I just don't want to, not that our chat's ever, especially today, there's not a ton of people in here, but I just really don't want to talk about that crap. A couple other stories that I wanted to get to. Huck Carbonara is not getting out, as far as I know. He tried to get a compassionate release, and he's going to have to do his time. It didn't work out. So he's going to have to sit in jail. A lot of these guys try to get compassionate releases. They don't get them, and they're going to have to sit. Look, there's a lot of guys that probably should get out, i.e. Frankie Loke, Carbonara. Some of these guys probably should get out, but, we'll see. We'll see if it ever happens. Another guy tried to get a compassionate release, Steve Flemmi. Obviously, people know him from the Boston underworld. Huck shouldn't get out. You're right. Frankie Loke probably should. I don't really understand why Frankie Loke's still in jail. But one guy that should not get out is Stephen Rifleman Flemmi. Stephen Rifleman Flemmi is a scumbag piece of shit, and he should never get out. He should die in prison. Prisons were made for people like Steve Flemmi, and they were made for people like Whitey Bulger. So, yeah, he should get out. He shouldn't get out. I'm sorry. And he's not going to get out. He was denied a compassionate release from Florida's parole board last week, and he's not getting out. So Stephen will die in jail. He's in his late 80s, so it's imminent. All right. What else do we have here? What's up, Corey? Craig says, I thought there were Scarpa 302s with the snake's name on them. I haven't seen them. Carl G, what's happening? Carlos says Frankie Loke should definitely get a compassionate release, but they won't because of the gaudy name. Well, I'm just going to say right now, Frankie Loke doesn't look. Frankie Loke hates John Gotti. As far as nowadays, he at one point wanted to kill him, I believe. So yeah, I don't see it happening. And you're right. I think a lot of it has to do with the Gotti stuff and his connection to John and being on that trial. Any idea what happened to Detroit Mafia doc? Not sure what you mean. What do you mean? What Mafia doc? Carl G says, do you have anything on Nicky Scarfo's son? Well, one of his sons killed himself, sadly. Mark. He hung himself. As far as Junior, yeah, he's down in FCI Farrington. He's got a long stretch there. I know that because my best friend is at FCI Farrington, and he told me he's there. He told me he walks the track and acts like a big shot, and he is. He was made into the I think the Genoveses. I had that big scam in Houston, I believe, with the First Plus Financial thing. So yeah, Scarfo Jr. is still around. He's down at Farrington in South Jersey. All right. I don't know, Captain. You don't have to ask Scott. I don't know what you're talking about. Check Twitter or contact Scott. Joe Dove Zayupa's in the chat. It says John Gotti was a stand-up guy. I like how you spell John and Gotti because that's how he would say it. I don't disagree with you. John definitely was a stand-up guy. I also wanted to talk a little bit quickly about some things that were said the other night. We also want to make it very clear. None of us said Junior was a rat. We talked about if he was. We talked about some of his things that he may have or may have not done. Do I think Junior was hated by the feds? Sure. Do I think he sat with the government? I mean, listen, you can do the research for yourself, and whether you believe it's doctored or not, that's up to you. I said before, I think Junior's an interesting guy. I think his stuff that he puts out is interesting. Doesn't do much, but you have to do that for yourself. Do I think he sat on the stand and said stuff? No, of course he didn't, and we know that because he had 5 trials. We saw what happened. He didn't do that. But it's really your definition. It's that simple. There's not really anything to hide from there. What's up? Mind someone else's business. Thank you. Great to see you. But yeah, I mean, there are documents out there with his name on them. And again, I think if we're going to argue them, we're just being a little delusional. It's just that simple. Things happen. They are what they are. I'm not proud of some of the things I've said on the internet, but I said them, unfortunately. I can't take them back. So here's the difference. Go look up Tony Salerno. There are no 302s because he never spoke to the government. It's pretty simple. He's not a rat. No one will ever say he's a rat because it's ridiculous. There are people, though, that have sat with the government. It's just that simple. We can try to argue it. We can try to say it didn't happen. We can try to have an agenda for things. But again, I put out what's out there. I don't have an agenda. I don't work for anybody. I just speak the truth. That's all. So take that for what you want. We can't delude things because it fits our agenda or doesn't fit our agenda. This guy said this about 8,000 times. The Clintons have killed more people than the Mafia. All right, Dante. Listen, nobody cares about your political nonsense. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I have no idea. We all know the government has some bad things that they do. Mob Show reports here. Thanks for checking out the show. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Carl G says Carmine Persico is as stand-up as they come. Extremely false statement. What's false? You're saying what the lawyer reported from Vic Arena? I agree with you. But don't knock Larry McShane. Larry McShane just reported it. That's all. And Larry will give us more details on the show next week. All right, guys, if you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you. We are 1 week away from college football, which I'm very much excited for. And I'm ready to go. I can't wait. I saw a lot of people got a kick out of my Twitter page. I posted something about Peter Pasta Pellegrino, who I watched the episode of Kitchen Nightmares he was on last night or the other night, whenever it was. I forget when I watched it. If anybody ever wants to watch that, they enjoy the Mafia, go check that out. It's awesome. It's really funny. So for anyone that doesn't know, there's a guy, Peter Pellegrino. He was a Bonanno associate, had a big sports book in Long Island, and was really connected in the Bonannos. He was connected with Sal Vitale and some other people, Jerome Massaro. There was talk that at one point he was a made man. He ended up having a falling out with the Bonannos, and he had a restaurant in Babylon, New York called Peter's. And Gordon Ramsay saved his restaurant in one of the episodes. It's on YouTube. You can look it up. It's great. It's hilarious. Gordon just destroys him in the episode. And there's a couple of parts where connected guys come to the restaurant and demand that Peter pay him for what he owed him. I guess he owed him like a debt of some sort. And it could just be a gambler or something, but it's really funny. Now, obviously, the restaurant's gone, but Peter's father was a big-time bookmaker for the Genovese family. And it's a funny episode. And he definitely was connected, Peter, for sure. What's up, Red? Dante says, go Dogs. Shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs. Like them a lot this year. Mob Show says, let's talk Lee Cole for a few minutes. No, we don't talk about other people in this show. This show's not about YouTube mob wars. So we're not going to do that. Rusty Rustelli, what is my review on him? Well, he was involved with the commission. Obviously, we're going to talk about him. Had a lot of bad luck. Spent a lot of time in prison. Rusty was in a lot. It's funny because his wife was actually very connected. She did a lot of things with him. Ended up dying at one point. Interesting guy. We're going to do a show on Rusty, so I'll leave it at that. Was very close to Joe Messino, was his mentor, and really had an interesting life. But yeah, it was a mess. It was an interesting episode. If you're, on a Saturday bored and want to watch something, it's funny. It's a funny episode. Jeff, regardless of what Frankie Loke thinks of John Sr., do you think he'll ever get out? No, I don't. No, I don't. Listen, the truth is the feds just don't really have a lot of leeway to mobsters. I mean, they just don't really care that much, right? Especially ones that were on the same or the co-defendants of Senior. They're just not going to throw any weight to those guys. It's not. So no, Frankie Loke will die in prison. Frankie Loke is old as well, so it's not going to happen. Have ever heard of Chester Wheeler Campbell? I can't say I have, but he strikes me as someone that's from the South. He strikes me as someone that was maybe a hitman. I don't know. No, I don't know much about him. I'll have to look into him. I feel like I've heard the name maybe involved with being a hitman, but I'll have to look into them. To him, I mean, I'm sorry. What else do we have here? I wonder how many Gigantes are involved in the life. The ones I met are seriously stuck up. P.S. Frankie will never get out. Agreed. To answer your question, some of Chin's brothers were involved. Obviously, Mario. His son Andrew was involved. His brother Lewis is a priest and actually just got jammed up for some child sex abuse stuff that was come out recently. So you want to maybe check out that. He's going to have some problems. As far as his other family, from what I understand, they're very rich and none of them are really involved. They have some dock jobs and things of that nature, waterfront type of stuff. They are stuck up. They're rich. He left them a ton of money. A lot of those guys, a lot of their families, Salerno, Gigante, Corral, all those guys have money. I mean, they just made too much of it. And that was one of Chin's things where when he pleaded, it was the Spares family. So, yeah, they're doing just fine. You don't got to worry about them. What's up, Jamie? Jamie P. Thanks for watching. Mobshare Report. I like Jeff. He has the info and content. Very smart. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Is the Chicago outfit not part of the commission? Well, they have their own kind of portion on the commission. They kind of controlled and did control for a lot of times the western side of the country. But are they on the Five Family Commission? No. Will you do something with Frank Matthews? Yes. Frank Matthews is going to come in the next 3 or 4 weeks for sure. I think Frank Matthews is the biggest drug trafficker in the history of this country, and not a lot of people know about him. Sadly, a lot more people talk about fucking rat Nicky Barnes and rat Frank Lucas, but Frank Matthews was the top trafficker in the history of this country. It's that simple. And yes, I do not consider Pablo Escobar and Chapo Guzman part of this country. As Americans were concerned, Frank Matthews sold more drugs than everybody. And do I think was killed? No, I don't. Wouldn't surprise me if Frank Matthews is still alive. In fact, he's got one of the more interesting stories you'll ever find. Frank Matthews literally took $20 million and left the country and was never seen again. It's pretty incredible. And in fact, he's one of the smartest people you ever find. Because unlike Salerno and unlike Corallo and unlike Gambino and all these guys, well, Gambino might be different. Gambino didn't die in prison, but we'll say Joe Messina, all these different guys that either died in prison or died as rats. Frank Matthews was smart enough to take all his money and get the fuck out of here. Could he have been killed? Maybe. Who killed him? Probably the Mafia. I believe he's still alive. He's old, but he's probably in Africa or South America somewhere. Here's what you want to do as a federal criminal. Here's a little piece of advice. Understand what countries have no extradition with this country. And that's where you want to go. Go to an OFAC country, maybe, if you really want to get interesting. Because OFAC countries are countries that do no business with this country. They have no relations and they do nothing with this country. So those are the places you want to go. Or just go somewhere with no extradition. An OFAC country would be labeled Iraq, those kind of places. Now, again, most people aren't going to go there. But you could go to Burma or Myanmar, obviously. You could go to Zimbabwe, which this country has no dealings with. You could go to Liberia. You could go to the Sudan. You could go to Congo. You could go to, the Democratic Republic of Congo. There's all sorts of places. The Ivory Coast is nice. Go there. Go to Belarus. Go to the Balkans. Or just go to a country with no extradition. And if you don't know what that is, you should know it. If you have a lot of money, you should go there. So countries no extradition, and they're beautiful. Montenegro, you can go there. Vanuatu, they have no extradition with this country. Mozambique, beautiful. Go up to the mountains of Mongolia. Macedonia is beautiful. Go to Andorra, nice little country. There's a lot of places you could go. Cape Verde, there you go. Sounds beautiful. Go to Uzbekistan. There's all sorts of places you can go. So yes, if you are a federal criminal, which I am not, you might want to understand those companies or those countries. But yes, if you really want to be smart, go to an OFAC country. Liberia, go there. What else do we have here? Maybe Frank Matthews is in one of those countries. He probably is. He's smart enough to know that. All right. What else do we have here? Do you know what the whole story with Gambino with the food stamp scam back in the day? It wasn't food stamps. It was ration stamps, which are basically food stamps. Yeah, he had a big scheme in that. Made a lot of money with ration stamps in the 40s. That's definitely true. Definitely true. Made a lot of money in legal alcohol after Prohibition. Made a lot of money in food stamp or ration stamp, kind of gathering them all up and selling them. And he also made a lot of money in nightclubs, gay clubs to be exact. So yes, that was a lot of the money that he made early, his fortunes. JVP says Montenegro is nice. Beautiful. If I go anywhere, in fact, I don't talk about this much, but I have an end game for all this. I'm going to get married. Um, by 45, I want to be over there. I have my country picked out and everything. I'm out. I'm going to live my days in Europe and get the hell out of here. If I'm going to die, I want to die somewhere nice. So I kind of have it down to 3 countries that I'm going to go to. So I'm pretty excited about it. That's my end game for all this. No internet, no nonsense. Just sit around, drink coffee, have a garden, watch soccer, have myself a nice young woman on my arm, maybe have a kid when I'm like 45, 50. Teach them to be a good man like me. And that's that. That's my end game. My end game isn't sitting in fucking America, slaving to the fucking man. We only live one life. Fuck if I'm going to do it like everybody else. So I'm very excited. Very excited. All right. What else do we have here? Someone says, go to Liberia. Go there, get tortured, robbed, and killed. Well, that's not true, but okay. I didn't say go to Liberia. Go anywhere. Go to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is actually really nice, bro. I don't think you know much about Zimbabwe. I have a friend of mine I know from Barstool that's from Zimbabwe. Goes there all the time. Don't go to Scotland. It's wet and cold. No, Scotland's not on my list, though. I will be going there soon. I like Glasgow. I want to go to Glasgow. If you could take one thing from each of the 5 families, you must agree to bosses. What skills and values would be in line? Thanks, Jeff. You know what? Email me that question. The sitdown777 at gmail.com. Email that. The sitdown777 at gmail.com. I'm going to talk about that on next week's show. What's up, Beantown? I'm from Hamilton, Ontario, and there have been a lot of mob killings and assassinations in the last 3 to 5 years. Musitano's being murdered, associates of mobsters being killed. Yeah, I know that. I read it up a lot, can see it's a fascinating area. Still a lot of active people up there, active families galore. I saw a video, frankly, speaking of that area, Joe Tadaro up in Buffalo. I know you talk about a guy that's never been pinched, Joe Tadaro. That guy's a lead pipe. He never gets arrested for anything. Got that big pizza business. Shout out to Joey T. Thanks, Jamie. Look forward to it. Yeah. You want to move to Cyprus? That's a great place. Sounds great. Yeah, my 3 countries are Italy. I'm going to go to Savona. It's a town up in the north, right on the sea. Obviously, I want to maybe look at Albania, my home country, and Slovakia. It's beautiful, really safe. It's like euphoric, so we'll see. Probably Italy, though. I'm a big Italian soccer guy, so we'll probably Italy. Savona is my town, so we'll see. Any info on Joe Electric since he got busted selling meth? Yeah, he's going away. From what I heard, big informant coming down in Philadelphia. There's been talk about that going on. We don't know who it is, but it's not going to be good. Not going to be good, I think, regardless of who it is. Beantown says Lenova. Yep. Big wing and pizza place. Joe Tadaro owns it. Craig Robinson says, my kid brother taught English in Bari. Lovely place. Yeah, I don't want to live in Bari. It's in the south. It's mob controlled. Just don't really want to live there. It is beautiful, though. It is beautiful. Shout out to Calabria. Okay, Captain, again. You're continuing to try to tell me that Zimbabwe is so bad. Listen, then don't live there. I didn't tell you to live there. It's better than most places in Africa. Some of you, Captain 14, you're way too involved in literally every little fact that you want to spew out there. I'm just naming the countries. That's all I did. Okay? Relax. It's nice. I know him, and he says it's nice. I trust him way over I trust you. All due respect. I know he lived there for years. It's like he's like, oh, their inflation's terrible and they're unsafe. Okay, I'm not going to move there. I'm just telling you. What Serie A team do I support? I bet on it, so I don't really support any team. I've always had kind of a last couple of years. I've always enjoyed Sassuolo personally. I like their style of play. I really like Caputo, Berardi, Boga. I like Locatelli. He's obviously not there anymore, but I like Sassuolo. I like that they're a small club, and uh, they've been exciting over the years, so I like them. So I would say Sassuolo. I have Sassuolo actually. I bet them today, and they're up 2-0, so I'm pretty happy about that. Plus 170, so up 2-0. Verona got a red card, so they're going to win that game. So very happy about that. Sassuolo Serie A is back. Plus 170. What a price on Sassuolo this morning. I took them. I also took Atalanta against Empoli. Or not Empoli, Torino. Torino is dog shit. They are terrible. They're going to get fucking shredded. And I also took Lazio against New Boys Empoli. So hoping for 3-0. And we're on to a great start with Sassuolo up 2-0. Not over yet, though. Sassuolo is not great defensively, so you never know. But they're up 2-0, and Verona only has 10 men. So we're happy about that. Don Vito Cacciafero says Greece is paradise on earth. It's definitely beautiful. Definitely beautiful. Mykonos and all those places. It is beautiful. Someday I'll get there. So, all right, we'll do a couple more minutes. If you have any other comments, I'd love to hear from you. I like Milan. Hopefully they win Serie A this year. I support Man United in the Premier League. I love those Man United teams of the early 2000s. Obviously, some of the great sides they had with Beckham and Giggs and Gary Neville and Phil Neville and all those guys. Terrific. Do you really have a TV on your ceiling? If so, why? No, I don't have it on my ceiling. I have it on my wall above me. My wall is like right directly above. Like it's strict. Like if I could move my computer, I would show you. Like my computer is right where it's sitting, and it's right above it. So I look up like that. I don't really watch a lot of TV in here. I have it on like when I'm, like during college football, like I'll probably sit in here and watch games. I'm actually moving from here pretty soon, so I'm not real worried about what I have. But when I move, I'm gonna have like a room strictly for some TVs in my office. I haven't decided. I'm going to move into like I'm in an apartment now. I'm in like a pretty big apartment, which I like. I've been here for a while, but it's time to move. I'm going to get a whole house. And I'm pretty bougie. So I'm going to get like a really nice place. Have like maybe a loft of some sort where I can like sit up there and have like couches and TVs and an office with the desk and stuff. So we'll see. I'm not necessarily moving right yet, but I'm planning to. I'm figuring out kind of what my future is with where I'm going to go next. As I've said before, I'm trying to get my podcast sold to a bigger company. And I got a lot of sports betting stuff that is going to kind of shake out over the next couple of weeks. So I've got a pretty big meeting hopefully next week. Hopefully we can finally get some FaceTime with Boss Man and try to negotiate something. It's time to go back. Have you been to the Mob Museum in Vegas? I have not. Maybe soon. My goal is to win big on the Euro lottery and buy a Greek island. That's a lot of people's goals, bro. So good luck. Craig says my go-to team in Italy is the old lady. Juventus. Not a bad team to pick. Richard says, I heard. I don't know. I'm not really sure. So, yeah, I'm not moving just yet, but there are plans there. I've been here 7 years in this place. So I got it when it first was built. So I enjoy it. I like it, but it's time to get a bit bigger place. Jeff, why did Gallante blow the doors off Costello's mausoleum? Well, because he hated Costello. He believed Costello was the reason that all that shit happened with Vito Genovese and Joe Bonanno, of two he really liked. He was Joe Bonanno's driver. He obviously worked under Vito Genovese. Vito Genovese taught him a lot about killing people. He was very loyal to those people, and he believed Costello was involved with that. So his idea was to blow the doors off the mausoleum. You can't kill him again. But we'll talk about that on the show next week. Carlos says, Jeff said bougie. Well, I am. I like new places. I like a lot of room. You should see the place I live in now. My bedroom's huge. And it's cool because so my bedroom's big, and then I have a little corridor. It's like got raised ceilings, and then I have the bathroom. It's all connected. So it's cool. It's nice. I like this area. I like this apartment. It's right near my town, so it's great. It's safe. Not that I really care about that, but it's in a good area. It's quiet. That's how you know that you've like made it. Not made it, but like you feel good about your life, where you live somewhere where it's safe and good, and you don't have to worry about hearing shit at night. It's just a good place to live. And that's what you want to do when you're a human being. You want to do your business in cities and stuff, but live outside. And I wasn't always like that. But as I get older, I'm more and more interested in it. So I might have to go to New York a couple of times a week. So I'm far, but I'm not too far away. Or once or twice a week ain't the end of the world. And I could still get there from where I live now. So Steven says, what a statement. What do you mean? I've had a lot of statements. What did I say? Easy Champion says, what day do you put out shows? Well, on our podcast, we put it out every Wednesday. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Pods, wherever you get your pods. It's called the Sit Down and Organized Crime Podcast. Those episodes are out every Wednesday. Thanks, Slug. Slug says, did you get the job back at Barstool? Well, hopefully we'll have some negotiations. I'm doing some work up there right now. I've been up there the last couple of weeks. Dave the boss man hasn't been in the office, so I got to sit down with him. So we'll see. I've been there before. I need a home, so we'll see. We'll see. I hope. Obviously, I think my content speaks for itself. I'm always involved in shit, and I think I have pretty good content. So listen, I believe if they take the sit down, it'll be the biggest Mafia podcast out there. So, and hey, don't knock me, because I'm going to talk to Sammy. I'm going to talk to Michael. I'm going to talk to Armand DeSanta. I'm going to talk to everybody. Anybody that's interesting in this business, we're going to talk to. So that's the goal. We're going to take the show from getting 10 to 13,000 an episode to, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's the goal. People love the Mafia. It's that simple. So we think we have a good thing here. Thanks, Carlos. Yeah, I'm close to that piece, man. I feel great. I'm not everywhere where I want to be, but, it's so hard to do what I've done, build an audience over the years and get them to then follow you to another type of audience. And I'm pretty happy with where I am. Hopefully it'll all work for me and I'll find a home and, I can kind of take to my next point where it's either buying a home or, getting married, which will never happen. But those types of things, Red says, I'm trying to raise 2 kids in gang country. There's nothing like living in a safe neighborhood. Well, Red, I hope you're able to get out of there. Just realize that there are a lot of safe places in America, and they're pretty cheap as well. So maybe take a shot on the wild side. Your kids are your kids. You want to save them if you can. So do what you can to maybe get out of there. Maybe move to a safer place. All right. See you later, Frank. Have a good day at work, man. Jeff, are you going to do a Frank Cali show? Yes, we're going to do a Frank Cali show. And we're going to talk about the murder, of course. Anthony Camello did that piece of work. So, not that it wasn't a piece of work. In his case, it was. But yes, we're going to talk about that. Sven Larson says, greetings from Denmark. Hope you're doing well. Well, shout out to you, Sven. Thanks for checking out the show. Thanks for checking out the YouTube channel. Make sure you check out the podcast. I'm sure you do, but check it out. I'm new to your platform, both podcast and YouTube. I'm just wondering what day you usually put out your shows. I answered this. Again, easy. Turn your volume up. Every Wednesday, we do a podcast. It's out every Wednesday. It even says that at the bottom, I believe. Or I don't know if I put every Wednesday, but yeah, every Wednesday. Red says, talk to my wife about this shit. She doesn't want to leave. Well, what the hell does she want to stay for? It's funny. I'm around my city, and I live in a pretty small area, but we have a city. It's got bad areas, and I move around down there. But then I get out and I go to the the suburb, and it's nice. because I'm close, but I'm not too close. Don't say never, Jeff. You might find that once. But listen, I'm not against it. I'm not against it. When I was 340 pounds, I had a beautiful girlfriend. She was way too hot for me. But she left me. And, that got me to whip myself into shape. So we'll see. I never say never. But I'll tell you what. If I can find a beautiful chick that's my type, that's cool, and isn't fucking drama-filled, I'll definitely get into that. For sure. For sure. But I'm focused on my work, what I'm doing right now. So we'll worry about that. But all right, guys, I got to go. I've got to eat. It's my time to eat. I only eat from 2 to 7. I do intermittent fasting. So I got to eat something. I got to get out there and work out today. And then, keep my day going. So, it's funny. You mentioned a woman. I'm actually going out on a date tomorrow night. So we'll see. I've seen her before. She's cool. I'm partial to Puerto Rican women. So they're my kryptonite. So we'll see how it goes. She's cool, though. She's come over before. We've hung out. So she's good people. So we'll have a little dinner, see how it goes. All right, Easy. I'm not answering this again. Easy, are you not listening to the show? I've said literally 4. Can someone help this guy out? This guy's asked this question 3 or 4 times. When's the show come out? I told him. I don't know how many times to say the same thing. Stockosa News says, how much protein do you consume daily? Stock, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm not real happy with you. Jeff Canarsi's a friend. I heard you talking nonsense about him. And I will stick up for my friends. I don't know what that's all about, but find a new slant, brother. Regardless of what you did in your previous life or what you're all about now. There's no reason for that. As far as how much protein to eat, I eat a good amount. I don't eat protein at lunch. I eat protein at dinner. I eat a lot of chicken. Don't eat a lot of red meat. I eat a lot of chicken. A lot of chicken Caesar salads and things of that nature. Question mark. You know what I'm talking about. I saw you in other shows commenting on Jeff Canarsi, and he told me that there were some things going on with you saying stuff. So I don't know what that was about, but no reason for it. Just have fun talking about the mob, bro. I would love to hear about your weight loss and intermittent fasting. Well, send me an email, the sitdown777@gmail.com. I'll send you a video, and I'll tell you about it. I actually did something on it. I did a video on it. So yeah. Next episode is Wednesday, Carmine Gallante. We'll also talk to Larry McShane, who broke the Carmine Persico story. All right, I'm out of here. You all have a great day. See you later.